The Hawkesbury Classic is a 111-kilometer kayak down Sydney's Hawkesbury River. It is coined as an ultra marathon with only the fittest, strongest, most unbelievable specimens able to even consider completing it. And this is me, a 17-year-old high schooler. This is the story of my attempt to complete the Hawkesbury Classic, a story filled with highs and crashing lows. The story begins way back in mid-2008 when I was only an 18-month-old baby boy. This is because when I was 18 months old, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, a blood cancer. Thankfully, after numerous rounds of chemotherapy and blood transfusions, I survived. This experience led to my father becoming a childhood cancer advocate and getting involved with numerous consumer groups to help families with children with cancer. Fast forward to 2023, and on one fateful afternoon, my dad heard about this fundraising event called the Hawkesbury Classic, a kayak competition that raises money for Arrow the Bone Marrow Transplant Trust, a charity which funds treatment for the blood cancer treatment stem cell transplants. My dad, interest piqued, decided to volunteer himself, my mum, and me to help the event. In between timekeeping and relaying information, I bumped into one of the event's main organisers, and listening to him speak about the event and how much it helps cancer patients, something clicked inside of me. The thought, I want to do the Hawkesbury Classic, entered my mind. And on the very same day I heard about the event, I proclaimed to my parents that I am going to participate in the Hawkesbury Classic next year. They both smirked at each other and thought it was just a childish statement. And to be fair, the most kayaking I had ever done was on my inflatable one I got for Christmas and used only a few times. He probably won't even remember this by tomorrow morning. I didn't forget. 5 days later and my training had begun. I went down to the local creek with my inflatable 2-person kayak. But here's the problem. Kayaking 111 kilometers is going to get really lonely. So I need to find someone who is as mentally deranged as I am to train and participate in the event with me. Insert Lenny. That's not his real name. And so, Lenny and I began training every weekend on my inflatable kayak. I also began cross-training by running and working out on the days that I didn't go kayaking. But then disaster struck. My inflatable kayak became a deflatable kayak and started to deflate really quickly. We would start kayaking high above the water, on top of the world as they say, and then about half an hour later we would actually be below the water level. Thankfully, the way the kayak was designed meant that only the 2 sides had to be inflated for the kayak to be above water level, so we weren't in any danger. However, it made kayaking really uncomfortable and quite unpleasant, so we slowly started to kayak less and less. And to make matters worse, my mate Lenny pulled out of the training. So here I am, January 2024, kayakless and friendless. My dream was hanging by a thread. But then I remembered something. Something that could really help me achieve this goal. Make a wish, baby! Since I had cancer when I was little, I'm actually eligible for a Make-A-Wish. And after years of my parents constantly reminding me that you are eligible for a wish and need to decide on what it will be very soon so you don't miss out on this opportunity, I finally had something to wish for. I applied, and within a week, I received an email saying that Make-A-Wish will get in contact with me soon. Days quickly turned into weeks, which quickly turned into a month, and I hadn't heard back from them. A bit annoyed and also conscious that, yeah, October's about half a year away. I need to get kayaking, man. I sent them a follow-up email playing all my cards. I told them about how great this will be as a marketing opportunity for them and how they could probably get some more donations. Not even joking, less than a day later, Make-A-Wish got back to me and organized a meeting time. The wish process was actually pretty funny. Make-A-Wish try and make it a fun and exciting experience for the child. However, I am not 8 years old, I am 17 years old. So most of my experience was me trying to get them to move quickly to the part where I asked for a kayak. Anyways, after a few meetings, Make-A-Wish agreed to give me a 2-person kayak, 2 oars, 2 life jackets, and best of all, a roof rack. Now, for those of you who don't know, kayaks have 2 attributes, stability, and speed. Stable kayaks are slow. Fast kayaks are unstable. You can tell which is which based on how wide they are. When researching what kayak I wanted, I rang up a local kayak store and asked them questions about this. After telling them about how I had been training on an inflatable kayak, the guy said, "Inflatable kayaks are very stable, so I recommend you get a stable kayak." Now me, being the trusting, innocent boy I am, took this advice to heart and found a very stable kayak. Too stable. After sending Make-A-Wish exactly what I wanted, I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. Another 3 months had passed without a kayak. It is now early August, 2 months before the Hawkesbury Classic. The event was slowly but surely creeping up on me. And finally, on the 14th of August 2024, I came home from school to a brand new kayak.
A Make-A-Wish! And this, oh my god.
That very weekend, I went for my first kayak with it, and oh my god, it's so fast! It was comfortable, has storage compartments. What else could I ask for? I don't know. Safe to say I was pretty stoked. My dad told me that the salesman who installed the roof rack and delivered the kayak told him that the kayak has a maximum speed and that trying to kayak faster is a waste of energy. Good thing that my kayak is really fast. However, my other problem had yet to be resolved. Make-A-Wish might be a genie, but they can't summon in a companion to complete the Hawkesbury Classic with me. So I thought long and hard about who might be interested in joining my training. Hey Dad, do you want to do the Hawkesbury Classic with me?
No.
Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And so, week after week, we would go training down at our local river. Training was at an all-time high, with particularly my workouts being incredibly long and challenging. Things were looking up, and I was beginning to become more and more confident as the days went by. However, despite our improved technique and fitness, we were still kayaking at the same rate as we were on day one. It still took us around an hour and 15 minutes to kayak 15 kilometers every weekend. In the back of my mind, there was a troubling thought. Is this kayak fast enough to actually complete the Hawkesbury Classic? What? Of course it is! Any human-powered marine vehicle can enter the Hawkesbury Classic, even bloody stand-up paddleboards. This is just an anxiety. It will all work out. Right? 20th of October, 1 week before the Hawkesbury Classic. The week before the Hawkesbury Classic, Dad and I kayaked our longest kayak ever, 40 kilometers. As we were kayaking, I noted the serenity of the luscious landscapes around us and the calm waters. We even saw the seal that was just kind of spinning around in circles like this in the water. Whee! However, my anxiety was building. The invasive thought that the kayak, once a lifeline, might be our downfall, continued to plague and cloud my mind. So much so that I asked my dad, "Hey Dad, do you think we would be able to complete the Hawkesbury Classic?" Which my dad responded, "When I read a story about a young couple who decided to attempt the Hawkesbury Classic 1 week before the event and they actually completed it, it gave me hope that even I would be able to complete it." Not funny, Dad. The doubt persisted in my mind, but I couldn't dwell on it. The event is in 1 week. We can do this! Before we get into the actual day, let me first introduce you to the map. We start here in Windsor, and then we go there. So as you can see, this map is absolute hell. Now, if we look just a little bit, oh my god, there's the ocean! Event day! The day had finally come. 1 year has passed since I first heard about the Hawkesbury Classic. All my training has been building up to this day. Before long, I was at the starting line about to go. 4 p.m. Let's go! We got off to a flyer. Dad and I were paddling our hearts out and... Wait, what? Why is everyone overtaking us? Oh, it's alright. Just the early race excitement, that's all. We will conserve our energy and overtake them as the night progresses. Wait. How is everyone so far ahead? Our kayak is too slow. All my anxiety had been proven right. Before long, we lost sight of the main little group of competitors, including a bloody stand-up paddleboarder. Like, how are we slower than a stand-up paddleboarder? Like, I kid you not, this happened 5 minutes after I started recording. I have trained so much to give up now. Let's do this. Dad and I kayaked our hearts out, trying to maintain our steady progress and even potentially move even faster than we were before. But as the salesman told us when we first got the kayak, there's a maximum speed and trying to go any faster than that is a waste of your energy. Still, we continued fighting, and slowly but surely we would make it past each and every checkpoint, eventually making it to checkpoint D. By the time we'd reached the first really important checkpoint, checkpoint D, the sun had already set and we were second last in our entire category.
It's really funny. It's like I stopped kayaking and I let my back just like rest for like 2 minutes, and then I get another good like 20 minutes out of it.
It was 10:30 at night. The cutoff time at Wiseman's Ferry was 2 a.m. So now it's a race against time. And so we continued pushing. There was no moon, so we had to use a headlight to help navigate. This was the nighttime POV. It was so unreal and so serene. At one point, we even saw water evaporating all around us, almost like we were paddling through clouds. It was the most unbelievable and breathtaking experience. I tried to take a photo and video of it, but this is what I got. It was almost distracting enough to not remind us how bloody far behind we were. Eventually, 10:30 p.m. turned to 11:30 p.m., then 12:30 a.m., and we were making minimal progress. Even though I was enjoying life and really enjoying kayaking, it was a different story for my dad. His arm started to ache and hurt on every single stroke. So much so that he made his intention clear. I am not going to continue past Wiseman's Ferry. No, this can't be happening. I have not trained for you just to back out. I can do this. I don't need my dad. I can continue without him. Then the clock struck 1:30 a.m., 30 minutes until the Wiseman's Ferry cutoff time. Suddenly, we saw lights on the other side of the river. Wiseman's Ferry. I can do this. I have never paddled faster than that in my life. I pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I had to get to Wiseman's Ferry ASAP. It is so close. I can do this. However, no matter how hard I paddled, my kayak would not move any faster. We continued crawling at a snail's pace. No offense to snails, you know, you guys are probably faster than us, honestly. I kept on hustling, tears soaking my vision. I did everything possible to get me to Wiseman's Ferry as fast as I could. And I failed. We arrived at Wiseman's Ferry at 2:05. 5 minutes past the cutoff time. We were so close. It might sound outrageous to feel disappointed after paddling 67 kilometers, but I was, man. That last stretch before getting to Wiseman's Ferry, when I was just paddling my life out and it just wasn't moving any faster no matter how hard I tried. It's one of the most disappointing and even hopeless moments in my life. I had to pull out halfway from Mooney, and while it was really quite disappointing, in hindsight, 67 kilometers is actually a really great achievement, and this experience as a whole has been one of the greatest, most empowering experiences I've ever had in my life. Life's all about making mistakes and learning from them and just giving things a go. And I'm really proud of the effort that I made to try and complete this kayak. And guess what? I'm doing it again.